I'm actually stunned by the process or lack thereof that is taking place in this institution. I have many Democratic friends that I know to be thoughtful, deliberative members of Congress, even though we may disagree vehemently on policy. But these proceedings being led by the majority, like I said, it's stunning. I cannot for the life of me figure out why the majority would approach this in such a way that will forever cast doubt on why and how they chose to affect history with the impeachment of a president of the United States. And now to what has taken place here today. This is just bizarre. As a member of Congress serving on the House Judiciary Committee, I'm asking questions to staff as witnesses before us in an impeachment evidentiary hearing. I mean, no disrespect to staff. We have the most dedicated, hardworking staff, and without these individuals, we most certainly couldn't do our jobs effectively. But we have not, and we will not, hear from any fact witnesses. Whether you identify as a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent, whether you agree or disagree with the president, whether you like or dislike a president, the American people should be cheated, should feel cheated by the way this is all taking place. This process is more than incomplete, and the American people deserve better. Today, history is being made, and I too believe it is a dangerous precedent for the future of our republic. It is worth a deeper explanation of the issue of a minority hearing. The minority members of this committee have frequently asked the chairman for a minority day hearing, and all members on this side have signed onto a letter to the chairman asking for a minority day hearing. I'd like to quote House Rule 11, Clause 2, whenever a hearing is conducted by a committee on a measure or a matter, the minority members of the committee shall be entitled, upon the request to the chair by a majority of them before the completion of the hearing, to call witnesses selected by the minority to testify with respect to that measure or matter during at least one day of hearing thereon. The wording here is that the minority shall be entitled, not if the chairman deems the minority worthy, but shall be entitled. Mr. Castor, with all of your experience in investigations here in the Congress, is it your belief, based on that experience, that ignoring the minority's stated rights for a hearing under the rules of the House severely undermines the future of this institution?
Yes.
I'd like to quote what we heard from the Democratic staff, Mr. Burke, in his opening comments. It is the hope that in these discussions, we can put aside political rancor, disagreements, and have a fair discussion. That is far from what has happened here today or the days leading up to this. The American people deserve better than this. And I yield the remainder of my time to Mr. Collins.
Thank you. Mr. Castor, we've heard a lot. This is always a good time, I think, to go back and remind people that there are 4 things that really haven't changed. Would you like to at least remind us of everything that's been discussed?
Well, there's 4 things that will never change, and that is the transcript is complete and accurate. It shows no quid pro quo, no conditionality. That's number 1. Number 2, there was no pressure. Both Zelensky and Trump have said that repeatedly. President Zelensky said that at the United Nations on September 25th. He said it in subsequent news articles on October 6th, and October 10th, and December 1st. Number 3, the Ukrainians and Zelensky did not know about the pause in aid, at the very least, at the time of the call. And number 4, no investigations were announced. The aid was released, and the White House, afforded a meeting, and then President Trump met with Zelensky in New York.
Do you find it amazing that the majority, one of their key prongs of this whole thing, is that they're making the elected leader of the Ukraine out to be a liar? Because if he says that there's no pressure, he's done it on many, many occasions since then, that undoubtedly they believe him not to be truthful. So doesn't that strike you as a little strange, especially in this circumstance?
It's unfortunate.
It is. It's sad that we're calling an elected leader who is actually working on corruption and other things like that, we're calling him a liar simply because they don't agree with the Democrats' theory of a partisan impeachment. With that, I yield back.